She used to be an actress.
Oh, really? Did she do anything out of scene?
And I think her biggest deal was she starred in a pilot.
Pilot? What's a pilot?
Well, you know the shows on TV?
I don't watch TV.
Yeah, but you are aware that there's an invention called television, and on this invention they show shows, right?
Yeah.
Well, the way they pick TV shows is they make one show. That show's called a pilot. Then they show that one show to the people who pick shows, and on the strength of that one show, they decide if they want to make more shows. Some get chosen and become television programs. Some don't, become nothing. She starred in one of the ones that became nothing.
Welcome to Couch Pilots. All of you are my friends. It's the show that dares to fly into the unknown territory of awful television pilots of the past. My name is Jason, but you can call me Vince, and across from me is my Vinny Barbarino. It's Captain Philip Restisher. Good evening.
Good evening. That was Welcome Back Kotter, correct?
Yeah.
Oh, and it was a tie with John Travolta, which was we heard at the beginning of this. You tied those all together on purpose.
And Vince was the name of the protagonist of the pilot we're talking about today, and
Yeah.
Barbarino is kind of long for barber, which a barber played a big part in.
Oh, yeah, Eddie.
So there's a lot going on
Wow,
there.
that's great.
There's a lot going on.
How long did it take you to come up with that?
I just came up with it while I was...
You never cease to amaze me with your wonder and amazement.
Oh, thank you so much.
Is that violet or purple?
What?
Your shirt.
Oh my! I would say this is a mauve, perhaps
Mauve.
a salmon rusty or a salmon. I mean,
No, it's not a salmon, not at all.
no, not a salmon.
No.
You think a
That's
mauve?
a tainted salmon. If that's the color of what your salmon is.
Bad
you're eating.
salmon.
Bad salmon. Great movie, right?
Yeah, I love bad salmon. And bad
You know
salmon.
what bad salmon is called?
No.
It's called Asian carp.
I was at the grocery.
It's called Asian carp.
Hold on a second.
It's called Asian carp. All right. Ooh. Drum solo. All right.
Yeah, I was at the grocery store the other day, and my daughter was like, she had tummy troubles,
Oh.
and she was feeling ill. She's like, I want a kiwi. And sometimes the body just knows.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Sometimes you're like pregnant women are like, oh my God, I want iron. I want to eat dirt. You know,
Right.
I want to get iron, and they just know they have a craving, something they can't understand
Sure.
or articulate. But my daughter was like, I need kiwi. And so we go to the grocery store, and she's like, hey, how do I know if I got a good kiwi? I said, when it comes to like vegetables and stuff, you want something that's got just a tiny bit of give. You don't want something that's rock hard, and
Right,
if
not
it's too mushy, then
right.
then it's like a bad salmon.
Sure. Right.
Right. And
How'd it go with that?
I don't know. It was like right before we got all of our school supplies, and then I got
Is that time already?
yeah, yes it is. And then I got her some kiwis on demand, and then I took her home. I think it was at the end of because I have my daughter every weekend.
Sure.
So at the end of the weekend, I take her home with all of her school supplies, like $100 fucking.
Oh, yeah.
And like no joke, it was like 99 something.
Sure.
With and 99 problems, but school supplies ain't one.
No. Did she get a trapper keeper?
I keep getting those mixed up. I think because they both begin with R. No, it had all these separate things that she should get. And I was like, "Do you want a trapper keeper?" You know, because sometimes on the binding of it, it's just got a handle. And so
Right.
you zip up around, and you can just hold it by the handle. It's perfect. Everything's in there. She's like, "Nah, I don't really want one."
She must have carried 700 folders with loose leaf paper, and it all falls out when she trips over the last stair, and she's going up to the second floor to her chemistry class.
That's very specific, but I bet it is very accurate.
Hey, a lot of people say I'm a lot of things, but I would say I'm definitely accurate.
So I just thought, get yourself a kiwi. Maybe that'll make you feel better. I don't know. And so we're talking just about the ripeness of fruit.
Yeah. There's a whole thing with melons and stuff. Like you put it on your forehead or something. I saw it on commercial.
You know me.
Sure. I've known you for 7 years.
Yeah, at least. I will eat almost anything.
Oh yeah, you've mentioned all the stuff you've ate.
I recently just had cow head tacos. It looks like just regular meat.
Sure.
There's muscles in the head. It looks just like meat. It's actually very good. I don't like melons. I don't like
Cantaloupe?
I don't like cantaloupe. I don't like watermelon.
I don't like watermelon.
I don't like cassava melon. All right. I don't like honeydews. Something about the texture of melons, I will pass.
What if
no,
you
thank you.
What if you make him if you use a lemon baller and do it,
No.
or a melon baller?
No, it's about the texture, not the exterior rind, but
What about the right?
what's that? The alt rind? I don't like the. I feel like I'm eating like a foam or
Sure.
something that just
Styrofoam,
contains a juice.
Yeah.
It's like just give me a glass of juice.
Just give me water.
Yeah.
Because that's mostly what that stuff is.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like melons. I don't like that at all.
Well, I agree with you. I don't like melons either.
Really, you're not a melon boy?
Oh, no.
But you are.
I'll
you
eat
are-
watermelon candy, but I won't eat watermelon.
That's funny because I love watermelon candy.
Right.
Like
Melon Laters.
No, I was
Jolly
gonna say,
Ranchers.
I used to go to the Sunnyland Movieplex right when I was in junior high, and they said it's $5.50 to see a film, and then you give them $10, and they always give you back a $half in change for some reason. I don't know why that. Give me a couple quarters. I don't need a $half.
Right.
No one uses that currency, but I love going there, and I always get Sour Patch watermelons. Those are one of my. I don't usually like fruity candy. I love Sour Patch watermelon candies.
What is the candy that you will, like if you were on a deserted island and you had to take one candy with you, what would it be?
That's tough. That's really tough.
There's two of them that are competing on my end.
I'm gonna just kind of freestyle jazz. I love Flips. It's chocolate covered pretzels.
Okay.
I love Goobers, the chocolate covered peanuts. I love Raisinets, chocolate covered raisins.
So anything with how about a chocolate melon? Like a chocolate melon ball. Like
I've never heard. Is that a thing? It
No,
probably
but I'm
is.
just saying you like all these things if it's covered in chocolate.
I think you could take yourself down to the Golden Corral and probably get a plate of melon and put it under
yeah,
that
that's true.
fondue fountain. It doesn't sound
You
appealing.
might get beat up if you go to the Golden Corral.
Well, that was Peoria, right?
Oh, yeah.
There's a video you can see on YouTube probably right now of a brawl
That
at the
happened
Golden Corral
in Peoria.
probably a year or two ago.
Yeah, because it was only like a few months after it opened. We went, and then like a week later that happened. I was like, "Can never go there again."
It's funny because like if you were like, what does a scumbag look like? You can just watch that video and you'll see 50 of them.
Yeah, definitely see 50 of them.
Good
I would
Lord.
say it's
Oh, real quick, if you are in that video at the Golden Corral Peoria fight, fuck you.
oh yeah.
Okay, that's it. Sorry.
And call the dial-in number.
Yeah, fuck you.
because I'm sure you have a phone.
Piece of shit.
I would. It's either gummy worms. Not gummy.
This is your number one candy.
If I was on a desert island, it would be one of two ones. I can't. Gummy worms or lemon heads. I love lemon heads.
Lemon heads,
I
really?
love lemon heads. With gummy worms, my teeth do start to hurt after I've had a few because of the sugar. But on lemon heads, I never have that problem, so I'm going to go with lemon heads. The problem is, if you're on a deserted island with lemon heads, they all.
You can fight off scurvy.
Well, hey, there's not. But if you have a box of lemon heads,
Right.
and they get hot, then it's just a big clump of lemon heads.
Which makes it better how?
No, it doesn't. It makes it worse.
Right.
I had a friend of mine during lunch break. She went to the dollar store. I said, "Oh, will you give me a box of lemon heads?" She's like, "Sure." She came back and she handed it to me, and it didn't like shake or nothing. And she goes, "I picked up every one. They just got hot." You know what I mean? So I'm like, "How do I fix this?" Because if I just start banging this, they're hot and they're all melted together. So I put them in the freezer for about 20 minutes.
Sure.
And then I took them out and I just beat the shit out of that box, and it worked.
Well, you know what I love? I love rubber bands, and I love Ziploc bags. I think that's an instant where you could probably put it in a Ziploc bag and take a hammer about it on the sidewalk, and you got yourself some lemon heads good to go.
Why do you like rubber bands? Do you ever wear them on your wrist?
Yes.
Okay, Eli has an obsession nowadays
Oh, I like that.
where he wears. It has to be a certain thickness.
Is he? Do you think he's my son? Maybe.
I would hope so.
Really?
Yeah.
But if that was the case, then like you and I would have an odd relationship, right?
Oh, I think he would grow up to be a better person because of
But
our
I mean,
relationship.
but I mean, like, because you and I would both be connected sexually to Molly if that were the case.
I figured we already were. Last week when she had a phone call with you, it goes a lot better than the phone calls she has with me.
Yeah, well, she has to see me a lot less than you, so
Yeah,
already
that's
I
true.
rank higher than you. But that would be an odd situation. Would you ever do a podcast with
No.
an ex of one of your wives?
Not at all.
Me being the exception.
You the exception.
Okay.
Rubber bands. What is it about rubber bands? Is it the usefulness of it, or is it the texture and you flick them and you hold them and stretch them and it's like a stress relieving ball?
This is good. They have so many uses. Okay, you can do a ton of stuff with it.
You put your hair up.
Yeah, and the end. No. I was at a house recently, a friend's house recently, and like they had a garbage bag that every time you threw something in the garbage bag in the bathroom, like the bag would go inwards or something. And I put a rubber band around it, and I've been back to that house several times since, and it's just they kept the rubber band. They're like, this is the greatest thing ever.
You're like the Albert Einstein of rubber bands.
I'm rubber band MacGyver.
Eli has one around his wrist.
Yeah.
And he will like take it off, and then he'll like do the whole rubber band gun thing, and he'll just shoot them up in the air and catch it. Shoot it up in the air, catch it. He'll be out in the pool. He will take it off and shoot it up in the air, catch it, and then
that's the other part of it though. Is not only is it useful for things, but it's also like it's a fidget spinner that you wear. Is
the original fidget spinner.
Yeah, and it's an accessory, and it's probably I don't know if it's a hipster thing. It would look cool, but honestly, sometimes I will wear a rubber band or two around my wrist.
Do you ever wear one to remind you of something? Like people put a rubber band they have to remember something.
I have not done that, but I did have someone. I was listening to a podcast recently, and I think I've talked about this on this show before. Beets. Have you ever eaten a beet before?
No.
Okay.
It's disgusting.
Okay. Well, you know what happens when you eat a beet?
You piss and shit red.
Mainly your shit, I believe, and it is terrifying. And this guy had an adventure. It was Adam Carolla. He says you've heard of Beats by Dre. He's got Beats by Adam. And it's a bracelet that you wear when you eat beets to remind yourself that you've eaten beets. So when you take a red hot shit, you don't freak out thinking you have internal bleeding.
It's good.
It's called Beats by Adam. It is very funny.
And hey, Adam, you're welcome for the plug. You definitely need it, probably.
We did something a while back where he liked us, right?
Oh yeah,
I think it was like the Mandrake the Magician, maybe.
Could be.
Anyway, rubber bands wildly useful.
Melons off limits.
Yeah.
Candies have to have chocolate for you around it.
Yeah, and I will agree with you. I do like gummy stuff.
I don't like gummy bears, and I don't
Come
like.
on.
I don't. No, I don't. I don't like gummy bears or gummy sharks.
The sharks are different. They're like a harder, weirder one. They're like the blue and white. They're opaque. They're not translucent.
Right.
You want to be able to have light penetrate your gummy. What's wrong with the bear though?
I think the bears taste different. I like you know what it is? I think I like the gummy worms because it's usually more than one flavor.
Probably because they're phallic too. Sick fuck.
They're very floppy, like my penis.
You know what's really gross? You ever go to like almost specifically from what I can remember, like a family video, and they're like, "Hey, you're renting a video here. Why don't you check out our candy selection? It includes a 3-pound gummy bear." Have you seen this fucking shit?
I've seen like Valentine's Day and Christmas. Yeah, it is a big humongous. It's like the chocolate bunny, but of course, a gummy is more dense because it's not hollow.
Yeah,
like the chocolate bunny for Easter would be 3 pounds if it wasn't hollow. Hollow.
Hello. I'm going to use a word I don't use very often.
Cunt.
Cunt. The 3-pound gummy, whatever form it takes. I've also seen like snakes.
Oh, I've seen the snake too.
Grotesque.
Yeah, I couldn't even. You can't eat that much.
This is what I like. I like opening a bag and I pop a couple gummy worms in my mouth and then I seal the bag and then I put the bag away.
Right.
I don't want to gnaw on a fucking 3-foot snake and say, what am I going to have to put a Ziploc bag over this and then a rubber band around it, right? Like, what am I supposed to do with that? I'm not eating a 3-pound gummy bear in one sitting. How am I supposed to preserve it?
Right.
It's fucking gross.
Right. It's like a novelty candy, right? I guess.
Oh, absolutely.
It's kind of like there's two other things that reminds me of on a smaller scale. We used to get baseball cards.
Yeah.
You had a piece of gum on the bottom.
A weird powdery covered
and it was
pink piece of bubble gum.
It was probably 5 to 10 years old.
It crumbled in your mouth. Not even like gum.
No, you can never get it to like have the. You would chew it, but you would never get the consistency of gum.
I can taste that it's sweet. There's some sort of give. All the crumbled pieces will not adhere to each other.
Right. So it reminds me of those, and then candy cigarettes. Right.
The promise of candy cigarettes is far greater than the actuality
right.
of them.
There was two kinds of candy cigarettes. There was, if I remember correctly, there was two kinds.
Okay.
There was just the white hard stick.
Are those the one that look like they almost mimicked like a Lucky Strike box, right?
But also, so there was two different kinds. There was one that it was white and it had like a pink right at the end, and they were hard and they were dusty. They had the same dust on them as the gum had.
Absolutely.
And then there was the ones that had more of a paper or plastic like ring or a film around.
I don't know
them,
if I know these.
And it had gum. And it was gum, and then you would go like that, and dust would come out.
I do know that.
Dust would come out one time.
Yeah.
And then you had to figure out how to get the plastic or paper coating off of the gum.
Is that a gateway candy?
Oh, for sure. I remember my mom had friends that lived down by Glen Oak Zoo.
Right on Prospect there.
Back before it was gangsta.
My aunt and uncle lived over there in the late 80s to maybe even the late 90s for about 10 years, and it was not a great area.
No. And there was a German store.
You told me about this before. The penny candy, right?
Penny candy.
Yes.
And these people barely spoke any English, but I mean, it was. Did you remember the candy? It was like a little hard. It was kind of like a taffy, but harder. And they were individually wrapped, and they had like different little monsters on the wrapper.
Like Frankenstein.
Yeah, and they were like the shittiest tasting candy whatsoever. But those were the kind of things you could get there.
Yeah. Just real shit candy.
Yeah. But it was a penny.
It was only a penny, right?
And if you think about this, that most listeners don't know that neighborhood. And I would say early to mid 80s is what I'm going to stick with.
Yeah.
My mom was friends with Greg and Star. They were married.
They were married?
Yeah, Greg and Star. And
the person's name was Gregan?
No, Greg and Star. Greg was the guy, Star was the woman.
Oh, she was friends with Greg and Star,
right?
And those two were married,
right?
Gotcha.
They lived somewhere down in that area, and my mom would let us walk to that penny candy store by ourselves
from their house.
Yeah, fucking nuts. There's no.
It's a different time.
I know, but still,
we live in an age of fear. That we will look back at this time in history.
Why wouldn't we?
And they say right now, that living in this time, they say it's the age of information, when in fact it is the age of fear.
For sure.
We will look back and we will identify this time as the age of fear.
3 mass shootings in like less than a week.
It's
fucking insane.
It's pretty rough.
And somebody made a very good comment today, accidentally at work. They're like, why because across the street their flag was a half staff.
Sure,
we should do that. Why and my boss says, why are we doing that? And one guy goes, well, there was a mass shooting in Dayton, Ohio, and I go, buddy, there was 3 in the past like 4 days. He goes, I didn't even all one. That's the only one I heard of. Mm-hmm. They're so common now, that people don't hear about all of them in a week. You know what I mean?
Is this an American phenomenon? And if so,
yes, it is completely American phenomenon.
Why is it, and how do we stop
it? Why is it? It's because we're one of the only countries that anybody can own a gun.
So is that part of the
gun laws? Gun laws. I'm not against hunters and all that shit, but nobody needs an AK-47. Nobody needs one.
Yeah.
Except the United States military.
I was talking to someone just last night about this, about what the issue is, because you're right. These shootings, these mass shootings, happened very recently, and they were saying in a place like Japan, you can't own a rifle. You can get a shotgun and a handgun, and every year they come to your house and inspect things. And make sure everything is up to code. And after X amount, like 10, 15 years, then you can own a rifle. I might not be accurate on this. This is what I was told. But I'm just saying that the government is so involved and entrenched with your gun ownership and everything. Like in this country, if there was a whiff of that, the NRA it'd be like a fucking volcano, right? Like they have so much pull and power when it comes to politics that people are terrified to go against someone like the NRA. But why not just take a page out of the book of another country that does not have it doesn't have to be fucking like Nigeria or the Sudan where they're lopping off heads and huts and shit. Let's talk about first world countries that do not have these kind of problems. What are they doing?
Right.
Let's not have so much pride that we can't mimic
Right.
another country in some of their things that they're doing well.
Here's my question to you: if you had like a Glock or even a rifle, wouldn't you feel just as protected as if you had an AK-47?
I don't feel like there's going to be an army attacking my house.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I think this is a situation where I personally don't own a gun. I don't like guns. I'm not interested in guns. I don't want to own one. I have a Louisville Slugger.
Sure.
That's about all I need, I think. But if someone was breaking into my house, it's going to be one, maybe two people. And if I were to be a gun owner, I think if I had a handgun that had maybe 12 bullets in it, that should probably get it done.
Sure. And if you can't get it done with those 12, you're not going to get it done. Right?
I think the intimidation factor of having a gun pointed at you is enough to make one or two people that are trying to rob you run away. So, yeah, you're right. If that can't get it done, then that's it, right? Oh, you're off on the Modelo's now?
Hey, they were left in my fridge.
This is a...
There's another one. There was another drink that was left in my fridge.
Yeah.
And I just can't bear to drink it.
What is it? This is leftover from the other podcast, a wildly successful karaoke... Was that Natural Light?
Oh, it's the strawberry lemonade. This is Big E's, and so he's banking on it being here. Kevin doesn't mind if that Modelo is not going to be there.
We should definitely drink that Natty Light. I'm off on the Fifth City right now.
I love Fifth City.
Chicago Pale Ale.
No.
You don't want one?
Can't do it.
Can't do it? All right, well, that's up to you.
Can't do it.
But no, to me, there's no need for a civilian, American citizen, to have an AK-47. It sprays bullets. If you used it hunting, the deer meat would be worthless, right? You're just, so there's no reason for a person to have it. I don't care if you have 7 handguns, 3 revolvers, a couple Glocks. If you have a rifle, I don't care.
So the answer is, part of the answer anyway, is to restrict the type of weapon someone's allowed. What about the number of weapons? What about mental health?
Oh, yeah, well, you're going deeper into it, but I'm just talking for those that legally can have a gun in this country, whatever it takes to be able to have that.
Handgun, shotgun?
Yeah, I don't care if you can have 12 of those because you can't carry all those at one time.
All right.
And you couldn't.
That guy in Las Vegas threw them all in a duffel bag and started picking people off of that counter, right?
But he wasn't using a revolver and just a shot. He was using AKs and all that kind of shit. That's gonna you barely pull the trigger and it goes it's just going all over the place. I'm saying I don't care how many guns you have. Let's say 10. There's really if you have to, because you can't carry 10. And you can't shoot off 10 enough to kill a whole bunch of fucking people at one time. Whereas with an AK-47, you can plow through 30 people in just 13 seconds.
Point made. You go out to events. You're not a shut-in. Do you ever go somewhere and it's on your mind, oh my God, what if something happened here? Do you go to a highly populated event thinking, oh, there could be a mass shooting here? If so, what's my course of action? Do you ever have that mindset?
There are times when I am in a large group of people that I don't feel comfortable for that reason.
Okay.
And for me, I'm always looking around. I'm not thinking, oh, there's a mass shooter. I'm just looking like, where is something that, like, if I'm at a bar, like a really busy bar, I'm looking for who's being loud or who's causing a problem. And then I'm going to take my person or persons further away from that.
You're in a bar's a good example. You're in a packed bar. Someone starts shooting. What do you do?
I grab my wife by the back of the head and I throw her on the ground and I try to just get behind something. That's all you can do.
Do you make your way towards an exit or do you just kind of bunker down?
I stay put.
Okay.
I stay put because I want them to. I'm banking on the fact that they didn't see me go there. with all the people. They didn't see me go there.
Do you have active shooter training at work?
Yes, we recently had that.
I had that at work about a year and a half ago, and then my daughter, sadly enough, has had it at school. It's a very odd time. I never had anything like that in school when I was growing up. The worst thing we had was tornado warning drills.
Sure. If it depends on the situation. If there's an active shooter at work, I think my course of action is different because I don't have necessarily a loved one with me.
Right.
And I'm in a place that I know all the corners for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas a nightclub or a bar, I don't necessarily know. You know what I mean? So.
Whew, heavy shit.
And just so everybody knows, you can bring a gun on this plane, but it has to be a handgun.
Yeah, only handguns and only fully automatics.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captains have turned on the fasten seatbelt sign.
I do have a phone call we can make today.
No, you're more than fine. I'm fine with it.
I think you'll like it.
I will take the phone calls. If I had to choose, Blake, do you want to lose? Blake, you're given the option of losing phone calls or commercials. I would say keep the phone calls.
I'm going to ask you when the time comes what you would like to see chop up the show in the middle, if not a commercial.
I told you.
A question? An aviation question?
An aviation question.
All right, we can work on that. This is a phone call wise. Did you listen to Comedy Bang Bang today?
I'm halfway through it.
Okay, if you stay tuned to the end, like me.
We listen to some of it because my boy's on there.
Which one?
Drew Tarver is my boy.
Oh, was he on there today? Which one is he?
He was just the guy at entertainment.
Okay, that was Drew Tarver. Okay, so at the end of the show, you have Moshe Kasher and Natasha Leggero talking about their Endless Honeymoon podcast.
Yeah.
And they take calls.
Okay.
I have their phone number. I thought maybe I could leave them a message right now because they say sometimes they'll call you back.
Okay.
Should we leave them a message real
Sure,
quick?
let's go for it.
I thought you and I could talk about that maybe you and I are in a homosexual relationship. We do a podcast together. We recently had a falling out, and them being a couple that does a podcast together,
talks about
how do they handle
walking away
arguments?
from it and letting it go.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. So I thought we could hit that real quick. Is that cool?
Sure.
I thought that might be fun. And if they answered, oh boy, wouldn't that just be the best? But I can't see that happening.
Hi, thanks for calling the Endless Honeymoon Podcast listener line.
I'm Natasha Leggero.
And I'm Moshe Kasher. We would love for you to leave us your question, the thing that you need advice on, whether it be a relationship issue, a sex life issue, a dating issue. Maybe you're single and you need some help figuring out how to stop being so. Leave us a message, leave your phone number, and we will call you back and arrange an on-air interview. Also, this is the Secrets Hotline. If there's something that you've never told anyone and want to get off your chest, you can leave it at the beep, and we'll play it live on the air and maybe make fun of it. It's a way for you to find freedom and us to find content.
Hey, Moshe and Natty Legs. My name is Jason. I don't really have any secrets to tell you, unfortunately, but I do a podcast with my partner. I'm a homosexual man in my late 30s, and my partner is a man in his early 40s. My name is Jason. I'm here with my partner, Blake. We do a show together called Couch Pilots, where we talk about television shows that had only one episode, and sometimes we get in disagreements. I was wondering, as a couple yourself, been married for 3-4 years now, and doing a podcast together, how does that work with you guys? Do you have some sort of protocol or some sort of what am I trying to say? So something where you
have a safe word.
Yeah, something that you can default to where if you're getting in trouble or you guys are having an argument, that you can say this is the way out, or how do you resolve it? Because
when you walk away, when you leave the room, when you leave the studio, how do you let it lay?
Right. We want to do a show that's fun. We do it for ourselves. It's fun. We do have listeners, and it's a modest crowd that listens. But when we have these arguments or disagreements that leak over into our real lives, we want to know how to resolve them. Give me a call back if you want. My number is 3.
Can't do it.
I would love it if we could hear back and get some of your thoughts. I'm a big fan of both of you. Thank you very much. Take care. So there you go.
That's cool.
And you made note to knock my phone number out?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
2936.
Oh, that's the time. I thought you were giving the last 4 digits on my phone number. I heard that today. I thought that could be fun.
No, yeah. And, here's a little Moshe and Natty Legs. I love Natty Legs as an actress and as a comedian. She's from Rockford, which is only
about 2.5 hours north,
yeah.
directly north of here. Yeah,
and she is right. It's a shit town. I mean, it's gangsta. Like we were talking about guns. That's why I'm bringing this up.
It like per capita, I think it is the most violent city in the state per capita.
Right. And I've often thought to myself, if you could have one night with Natty Legs, she's very sophisticated.
Is she?
Sure, she is.
All right.
But, do I offer her drugs and a pizza? Or do I take her to a comedy show and martinis afterwards?
Oh, so you're proposing if you got her to the Peoria, Illinois area, what would you do with her?
Well, if I had the opportunity to go on a date with her.
I would tell you what you would do with her. Are you ready? Okay.
Drugs and pizza.
Well, you got it half right, and it's not the pizza that you got right. I think you get some weed, first of all. Okay. And if you have access to coke, maybe a little bit of coke. I think those two things. But she's a lady who fancies herself a sophisticate. She's not a sophisticate, but she fancies herself one. So what you want to do is you want to take a lady like Natasha Leggero to a nice restaurant. Take her to like Jim's downtown or
Alexander's.
Take her to Alexander's or honestly somewhere in the Heights.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Sit outside, razzle and dazzle her with some nice drinks. Then maybe you go to the bathroom and you do a bump. I don't know what the fuck you want to do with this broad, but I think that's the kind of thing you'd want to do with her if you got her to Peoria, Illinois. You got to hang out with her.
Comedy stylings, Moshe or Natty, if you only picked one.
Natasha.
Yeah.
Yeah, Moshe, kind of funny, not great. I understand his appeal. Her, a really funny lady is rare to me. I don't think she's a really funny lady, but she is funny.
Right.
I would say I prefer her comedy over his.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway, that's my 2 cents. All right.
It was completely irrelevant, but
everything we said was irrelevant. Today we discussed the pilot episode of So Here's What Happened from the year of our Lord 2000 plus 6. Now that was a great year.
2006. Mm-hmm. I dipped back. That was 13 years ago. Dismay. What?
That's a Beastie Boys line.
Yeah. Why?
Much to my dismay.
Checking my
Checking
no,
my
it was
D.
It was that was 3 years ago. Dismay. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. I like the way that she walks. Dun, 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 dun. And it's sure to hear her talk. Dun, 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 dun. I can always make them smile. Dun, 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 dun. From White Castle to the now. Back in the day. Dun, 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 dun. I went by home CMCA. All right, anyway. Dun, 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 dun. That was 3 years ago. Dismay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank God. We finally got to it.
I was willing to go through the whole song until we got to it. We're gay.
Yeah, that's fine. 2006, looking back over the years. Where was I in 2006? Where were you? Where were you in 2006?
Well, in early February of 2006, my daughter was born on the 5th of February.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Did you call her daughter?
I took a cue from Eddie Vedder's well-written song from Vitology, Daughter, and I called my daughter the very same name. I was 24 and I had a kid. That's crazy.
No, it's not crazy. I mean,
yes, it is.
Okay, well, I was 31 and I already had a 10-year-old.
Well, you are crazier.
Crazy. I think this was. I'm going back and I'm thinking that this was probably around the time. How many years ago? It was 13 years ago?
Yeah. Are you trying to decide whether or not it was a good year for the Roses?
Yeah, I'm thinking, and I may be incorrect here, but I'm thinking 2006 is where I had sexual intercourse with 3 different women in one day.
In one day?
In one day.
Holy guacamole.
Yeah.
I've never done that. That's incredible.
So
Wow.
And the flip of this is 2 of them I worked with, and they never found out about it.
Where did you work?
I worked at PARC,
Okay, so that's Peoria Area Retarded Citizens.
Peoria Association for Retarded Citizens.
Okay.
Yeah. I was a live-in, so my apartment was furnished, and my apartment was
You
paid
lived
for.
at Park?
I lived at I lived at a residential facility.
I didn't realize they did that.
Only at the group homes. It was a group home. There was 8 people that lived there. There was
all men.
Nope. There would be 4 men on one side, 4 women on the other side. There was an attached apartment.
So you had sex with 50% of the residents.
No, not the residents. Park was. I'm done. All right. So anyway, there was one girl.
Good Lord.
She came over in the afternoon. Bada bing, bada bing. There was the second one.
Were both of these planned? Did you know it was going to happen?
Oh no. Well, I didn't know it was going to happen on the same day, but it was going to happen. But I didn't know.
These are 2 ladies you've been working on.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And you work together.
Yeah, took care of business with the one, and had it planned out for the one in like early evening.
Good Lord, man.
And then there was another girl who I had the hots for, and was kind of like flirting with, and she was a chef, and she's
at Park.
No. The first 2 girls worked at Park. The third one didn't. And
A chef at where?
I don't remember where she was a chef.
I just want to go eat there now, is what I say.
But so I worked this first one early afternoon, early evening.
Are you showering between?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm not a fucking disgusting pervert.
Well,
and the third one was like one that I would date. The first 2, it was very like, hey, we should just have sex.
okay.
The middle one was kind of older than me and maybe kind of like trashier than me, but she was like sexy trashy.
But first, I definitely know what you mean. But the first 2 are Park employees.
That's correct.
And the third one is the chef. And the third one's like, this is the one I actually really like.
Right. And so the plan with her was, I'm going to come over and I'm going to cook you dinner, and
I think I've heard about this one before.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's where she was cooking, and she got something on her shirt.
And then we went to downtown, right?
No, I gave her a wife beater, and then I ripped that wife beater off by the end of the night, and that was the one that was the squirter. And
Lord.
Do you want me to finish this or no?
Yeah, go ahead. No, we're already pretty deep. Go ahead. Wow.
She had said, "Hey, I am a squirter.
Sure."
And at the time I was like, I've just seen that on videos. It doesn't really happen. That's all like just water shoved in somebody, and
It's not the case.
did not know that.
Yeah.
And it was like, I'm like, okay, so when you say that, you're probably just like, just a little bit. I'm like, yeah, just no. I thought I was going to drown. It was because she told me to back up.
Did you weigh her before and after?
No, but when it was about to happen, she said, back up.
Yeah.
And for somebody to say back up, I mean, it was pretty intense.
Get out the canvas. We're about to Jackson Pollock this shit.
To be honest with you, it was one of the most oddest things, but at the time, like in it was like one of the coolest things. You know what I mean?
Like cool, or like were you like totally turned on by it?
Yeah, I guess that's what. Yeah.
Wow, 3 girls in one day.
Yeah.
I struggle to masturbate 3 times.
Oh no,
in
not
one day.
me. My wife is gone on vacation. I am struggling to not do it.
Usually when I come over to the captain's lounge, I say, "Let me bring my black light in," and you're always like, "It's fine." But today you said, "No,
not this week. Not this week, baby."
So you're just painting the walls with your red hot jism. Is that right?
I have a story, but that's not no.
Even you have thought of a story that is too much for this show now. Wow, that is bad. I am curious to what that is offline. Holy Moses.
Let's Modeo this shit.
Oh, boy. 2,000 plus only 6. It's not that
There's really no
now.
advantage for me to do this, right, on a weekly basis. Like,
What do you mean?
Nobody's life is better because they hear stories about me. right? Like all I'm doing is like giving the powers that be like ammunition.
I don't know who the powers that be are, but also B. Arthur. But I'm not. I also like.
Do people get into entertainment, or they just look at me like a fucking degenerate?
But are you doing this for other people, or do you feel? Or,
No, this is my therapy.
Then that's it. Then that's it.
Okay, all right.
That's it. You don't have to think. It doesn't have to be any deeper than that.
All right. I don't care. I think I'm a fucking scumbag. I don't care.
Who said you're a scumbag?
No, I'm saying if people think I'm a scumbag, what am I going to do about it?
Most people have a kink or a deviancy sexually about them that they hide forever. You are very open and honest about yours, and I'm not saying it should be sought after or you should be a sexual mentor to anyone, but
You see me as a sexual mentor.
but your ability to be open could be applauded. You're not hiding from anything. I mean, is there anything else you want to reveal on this show?
Nope.
Are you sure? Yeah. Okay. 2006, 13 years ago. It doesn't sound like it's that long ago, but my daughter was born that year, and goddamn it, she's 13 years
She's
old.
awesome. Your daughter is cool. Your daughter is very cool, and she's got a pretty level head. I mean, like she doesn't act like the times I've hung out with her. She's never like acted up or been a problem. She's very like she's the female version of you. Like she goes with the flow, but she has a little bit of teenage girl. You know, just kind of like woo.
She's a little moody right now.
Yeah.
I think she's wonderful. At the time of recording, tomorrow she is going to New York City.
New York City.
Get a rope.
How much do you have to pay off of that?
It didn't cost me anything. Her mom and everyone on that side of the family, they're all going to the East Coast, and they're going to spend a couple days in New York and then come back.
That's awesome.
It's very cool. She had a hell of a summer. She went to Wisconsin twice for a week.
Sure.
She went to San Francisco and New York. This girl is a fucking globetrotter.
That's awesome. Those are memories she'll have forever.
She really will have this incredible
I've
summer.
never even seen the Grand Canyon.
Yep.
That's honestly, yeah.
And you want to get on that glass?
Nope. But like I've been to Vegas and I've been to Folsom, California, but that didn't happen until I was in my late 30s.
Real quick. The opportunity to go on the Grand Canyon arrives, and then there's that big glass deck that goes...
Not going to do it.
But hold on. But you know that there is not one single recorded death of someone going out there. Would you do it still?
No, it doesn't matter to me. Like, why? How is it going to make the experience different for me? Now, hold on a second. Can I spend 45 minutes walking around the normal places at normal and people looking at and looking at everything and going, this is fucking amazing, you know? Or can I spend 10 minutes in constant fear and completely missing the beauty of it just because it looks like I'm hovering over it and I could die at any second? Like, which would you know what I mean?
You can have it both ways.
No, you can't.
Okay.
You can't. Because if I'm forced to go out on that thing,
Yeah.
I will have a breakdown.
Okay. Just like Tom Petty sang about.
Breakdown. Going here, send me.
Breakdown. Send me through the night. Breakdown.
He wasn't that good, right? Can we agree that he was not that good? I
disagree.
I do not think he was that good.
Tom Petty could write a catchy song. He could. If you ever listen to his greatest hits, it's like, oh, I know that song. Oh, I know that song. Oh my God, I know that song and that song and that song, and they're all like fucking catchy. They're not super complex. They're not super deep.
Yeah, but
they're good, catchy American rock songs.
There's a lot of people that like are millionaires and they've never sang a song in their life, but they've written catchy songs.
Sure.
Did I tell you about my Taylor Swift obsession right now? I listen to nothing but Taylor Swift. I don't like her new song, Anchor.
I don't want to know anything about
Let's
it.
mosey on.
I was going to say, we got a lot to go through. I don't want to hear about fucking Taylor Swift.
This episode was only supposed to be an hour, and we only have 15 minutes.
Good Lord.
Hit it!
2006. Let's go back there in our minds. And to do so, we'll talk about a couple of things that happened that year so we can get our minds straight, right? We don't want to talk about things happening in 2019 we don't want to talk about things that happened in 2006 with a 2019 mind frame.
Right. There's a big difference between 2019 and 2006.
Absolutely.
Okay? I could never have sex with 3 women one day right now. It would not happen.
That's unreal.
Married or unmarried, it would
Lord.
not happen.
Good God.
Number 2, back in 2006, we didn't have Band-Aids.
Right.
Right? We didn't have Ross Perot even.
Can I finish?
R.I.P. Rossi.
R.I.P. Can I rip?
Rip another hit off that bong.
Ahoy, hoy!
And most importantly, and probably most historical part of this one is in 2006, we didn't have no Indians.
Oh my God, is that true?
Yeah. They were gone.
Hey, yo, how are you? August 3rd, this is the thing that did happen in that year.
Okay.
Barry Bonds, a 715th MLB home run ball, moved him past Babe Ruth for second of all time, fetches $220,100 at an auction.
That's insane. I remember that. I do remember that. And
This is just a fan who happened to
Catches
catch a ball.
hey, just like Pokemon.
Gotta catch a ball. Pokemon, you have a ball. How do you verify it is the same ball?
And I'm glad you asked that.
Well, thank you very much.
Because what they were doing, he was getting close. And remember when Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa had that home run?
That was in 97, 98?
Right. So what they did is they were numbering the balls.
Oh, they really were.
No, they were numbering the balls.
But can't someone mimic that, or were they?
Oh
doing
no,
it?
it's like a stamp. They know which ball is in play at that time.
So the pitcher has just a bag full of balls, all fucking numbered with some weird like serial code on it or something like that, right? A serial number.
Yeah, basically. I mean,
and so they blast.
The pitcher doesn't have a whole bag of them. They have a bag. The ball boy has a bag, and then they give the umpire 4 or 5 at a time.
I should have revealed this when we called Natty Legs and Moshe Kasher earlier when talking about secrets, but I don't know how baseball works.
You know what? I don't blame you.
It's so boring.
But did you watch the documentary?
Of what? Oh, who's that guy who does all the documentaries?
No, this is on Netflix right now. It's called
Baseball Fucking Sucks.
Jack of All Trades.
No, I don't watch that fucking shit. Is it good? It's about baseball?
It's about baseball cards, but it also becomes about his relationship with his father. But it shows you that shit was shady back then.
What do you mean? Oh, back in the 90s? What was shady? The baseball card stuff, or
Yeah.
what? How so? What was wrong? How were baseball cards shady?
Well, to make a long story short, like let's say there was a rare card. Like who the people that decided how much a baseball card was worth, it was supposed to be about like how many was in circulation.
So they're controlling how many are in circulation, is what you're saying.
They're telling you that. But what they're doing is like they're like, oh, there's not that many of these Ken Griffey Jr. cards, right? Rookie cards. But so the price goes up. And then they just do sheets and sheets and sheets of those cards.
Okay.
So everybody thinks they have a rare one.
What's that one that's really expensive? Like the most expensive one? It's like Horace
Wagner?
Horace Wagner.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's
and the
like
Mickey Mantle rookie card is a big one too because there wasn't that many of them. And the Ken Griffey was supposed to be at one time, but everybody has it.
I never collected baseball cards. I don't give a shit. Anyway, a baseball being worth that much is madness. Can you imagine the guy who paid that for it and he's got it like somewhere with like a light on it on a pedestal thinking,
in
goddamn,
a plastic clear square?
Yeah, he's like, boy, I am stupid.
Yeah, for sure. Just like we were stupid growing up. I remember I had a page of Don Mattingly rookie cards.
Sure.
And I had a page of Ricky Henderson rookie cards. So it's 9 to a page. So that's 18 cards. And at the time, that was probably $1,000 worth of cards.
So says a book.
So says a book, right?
Yeah,
But I would have never gotten that.
It's exact. Thank you for admitting that, because a book
No,
will be like,
but at 10 years old, do I know I'm not going to get that? No. I see it in the book. I'm like, yeah.
That does sound like a racket now that you're kind of spelling it out.
Oh, if you watch it, it's not all like baseball. It's cool. It's
we'll
cool.
sell these packets for $1.95 a piece to kids.
Well, back then
and they'll think that they've got hundreds and thousands of dollars worth of.
And that's the thing is because his dad, when he was a young kid, right? His dad got into baseball card market because it was, and so part of his bar mitzvah present was this stash, right, that his uncle had to keep.
Yeah.
Because when you turn 18, that'll be worth millions of dollars. And that's how it all starts, is because he's a man. He's like, oh, I forgot all about this stuff. And then he finds out they're just not worth shit.
Yeah,
and he has no idea. Like, he has no idea they're not worth shit.
August 24th, after signing a one-day contract with the San Francisco 49ers, blank officially retires
Joe
from the
Montana.
NFL. No. 2 more guesses.
Jim Rice?
That's very close. Very close. It's someone who's had...
Jerry Rice.
That's exactly right. Wow, good job. Yeah. 2006, Jerry Rice.
And that's weird how they do that, because that happened just today. We're recording on the
5th
of August. Jordy Nelson signed a one-day contract with the Green Bay Packers to retire.
Why is that? Just because he wants to retire with that team?
Yeah, because he was with that team for a long time. He got old. They traded him, or he signed a free agency.
Who cares? Who cares who you retire with?
Because if you go in the Hall of Fame, it's going to be the team that
you retired with.
No, well, it's going to be
Is it really?
I don't know.
To me, it seems dumb.
It's sentimental. It's just a sentimental thing for the
really.
fans. It's for the fans.
It's a weird thing to make a business decision based on sentimentality.
Well, it's not a business decision. There's no money involved. You just sign a contract for $1.
Oh, really? That's what it is? There's no money involved?
No,
Okay.
there's no money involved.
All right, well, there you go. So apparently Jerry Rice had some sort of... was he a classic 49er?
Oh, yeah, like 95% of his career.
I don't fucking know. All right, August 31st, so this is an interesting one. Stolen on August 22nd, 2004, Edvard Munch's famous painting, The Scream, is recovered from a raid by Norwegian police. The painting was said to be in better than expected condition. Another nod to the Norwegians, huh? They've got it figured out up there, the Netherlands.
And me and Lucas talked about this. Like, why would you steal a painting?
You guys
can't
did.
sell it.
That's funny. You said you guys
it was
about
the crying woman or something.
Yes.
Like that.
Wow.
But
that is
Picasso. Yeah. Why would you steal it? You can't sell it, and it's worth about as much as that baseball that you have under a light that you spent more money on the setup than the actual baseball is actually.
I think at some point, if you were a mega rich person, there's just nothing else you can do with your money.
Hashtag fuck you money.
You know what's better than fuck you money?
Fuck me money.
That's exactly right. Fuck me money is because it's like I am doing things to my own detriment with my cash because I have the cash to afford it
and have nothing else to do with it.
And why not steal one of the masters, one of the most notable paintings of all time, just so you can put in your basement somewhere?
That Amazon guy, Ryan Bezos.
Jeff
Bezos.
Correct.
Like, he's got fuck me money, right? He has so much money that he could give to charity, every charity in the world, and still just be like, I'm just going to buy cocaine.
He has billions and billions of dollars. He is a prime candidate, an Amazon prime candidate for fuck me money.
And he just got a divorce from his wife, and she got $1 billion, and it makes no fucking difference to him.
It's barely a dent. Yeah. Interesting. And with that, we're safely and securely back in 2000 plus 6. So did we talk about how old we were? I was 25.
Oh, yeah.
And you were how old?
31.
31. So why did we choose to watch? So here's what happened.
There's 3 simple criteria. A, it was free and available. 2, we found it on the internet. And most importantly, there was one and done. Whether it aired or not is irrelevant, but there was only one episode made.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Pretty
cut and dry, right?
I usually start with, I basically did the reverse order.
Why did you choose to do it that way?
Because every time we have a guest on, they do it in all kinds of weird orders.
So
but I think the most important is there's one and done. It never went to series.
That's the most important.
That's the most important. Too. And then we found it, and then it was free. That's to me, that is the legal tender of that list.
I'm not sure what you just said makes sense, but I agree with it.
Hey, that's all I care about.
You can find the entire episode of So Here's What Happened by subscribing to Couch Pilots on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app of choice, and then simply click on one of our classically blue links in our show notes, or go to YouTube, and you know what to do too!
Flight attendants, prepare for takeoff, please.
Can't believe you agreed to like so many episodes in a row with no guests.
I can't believe I agreed to 15 sit-ups today. It sucked. I did
Push-ups.
Yeah, exactly. Push-ups. I've done 7 push-ups.
Let us
7 days of push-ups.
Well, that's
7 days of push-ups and a cardiac arrest.
we need to have a sit down soon and really iron out the details of 200.
Yeah,
I've got some ideas.
it's coming up, folks.
Summary: The pilot, an ambitious guy, takes over his family's car dealership in Queens, New York.
That's a broad stroke. I'll give it a C-. It's a broad stroke.
Wow, you are so tough on these summaries. You're so tough on these summaries. I would say it's a little interesting.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Interesting Facts. Conrad rule in effect. Keep your opinions to yourself or you're going to get shanked, motherfucker. Just like in Wentworth Prison, where the bitches got to be watching their back all the time.
Is that on Netflix?
Yes, you have to watch it. Give it 5 episodes, and you can quit if you don't like it after 5.
You said the Conrad rule. Do you think he listens anymore?
No, not at all. I know he doesn't.
I'm gonna say this about Conrad. I hope he's dead.
Folks,
If he stopped listening, I hope that he's dead.
it's kind of like the Ring. If you stop listening, you'll die. The Conrad rule is in effect. Don't share your opinions with anyone else. We can't be like that. I mean, it's the memories.
Okay, I hope he's alive.
It's the nostalgia. Just Jason's gonna give you facts, guys. Just don't do it.
Don't taint these facts, for the love of God.
Woo! We're back, baby.
There are facts. They're unmitigated, complete, absolute truth,
Unadulterated,
scientific, factual. They cannot be reasoned with, just like the Terminator. Don't taint someone's experience by saying that you like these facts or you disagree. It doesn't matter what you think. All right? If you respect those around you, just take these in and absorb them. And at a later date, maybe in a room in a basement with no windows, you can...
with a Polaroid camera,
Sure.
with a dead body laying next to you.
Sure, you can emote then.
Oh.
Don't finish that sentence, please. Holy crow. Interesting facts. Pilot made for the CBS network. Fact. Its working title, Mr. Invincible.
Fact.
Stars Bobby Cannavale. You may know him from projects such as the Ant-Man films, Will and Grace, Mr. Robot, and Angie Tribeca. Fact. Also stars Hector Elizondo. You may know him from Pretty Woman, Runaway Bride, and the Princess Diary movies.
Alejandro.
Who sings that? Justin Bieber?
Alejandro. No, this I would consider him a character actor, right? Like you don't know his name, but
Hector Elizondo?
Yeah.
Do you know which one character that was?
Yeah, the barber.
Yeah.
What do you think? I'm fucking stupid.
I don't want to answer that. And finally, it also stars Rashida Jones. You may recognize Rashida as the daughter of Quincy Jones from Parks and Recreation, I Love You Man, and also Angie Tribeca as the titular character.
Yeah, I remember her from Parks and Rec. Actually, I wrote it down.
I saw her on that. I've seen I Love You Man. I've never seen Angie Tribeca. She's also in like a season and then very sparingly going forward on The Office.
Yep. Yeah.
Interesting facts over.
Great job. You did a great job.
Twitter responses.
Twitter responses.
Oh, that's it. Okay. Here on Couch Pilots, we reach out to the producers, the writers, the directors, the stars of any given pilot that we discuss, and we say, hey, we're Couch Pilots, the podcast. We talk about TV shows that had only one episode. Next up for us is Your Godforsaken Pilot, and we're excited to watch it, and we're wondering if you had any fun or interesting info you want to share. Thanks. Hope to hear from you. Well, we did hear from someone this week. Did you see this?
No.
Okay. In So Here's What Happened, there is a black fella, goes by the name of Cliff. He's one of the salesmen at the auto lot, or whatever you want to call it, used car show, or new car lot, whatever it is. The actor, his name is Omar Benson Miller. And I said that to him. I said, we're going to watch this show. Is there anything you want to share with us? And he says, this is awesome. I said, all right. I said, we think so too. How did you land the role of Cliff? And he says, who is Cliff? And then I sent him a snapshot I took of my phone of the IMDb listing for So Here's What Happened with his name and his character's name. He said, oh, yes, I forgot his name. That's a great story, actually. And I will say that I was about ready to take a nap when he sent that. So after he sent that's a great story, I fell asleep. And then later I said, what's the story? And he didn't get back to me. And then later still I said, Omar, please tell me a great story. And still he did not get back to me.
And this is what happened. While you were sleeping, he checked out Couch Pilots podcast, listened to about 10 minutes of it, and said, I'm not fucking responding to you.
Sandra Bullock style, while I was sleeping, I think, I don't know what happened, but I was very tired. I took a nap. I couldn't believe that he responded. And maybe due to my nap, he failed to tell me a great story. But here's a Twitter.
We'll tag him.
Here's the thing. There is a great story involved with this pilot. Do we know what it is?
Omar, we need to know this story, Omar. Come on, help us out, brother.
Absolutely. Without a doubt, we do not know what that story is, but there is a great story involved.
Hey, tune in next week.
Yeah, tune in next week to find out. All right, so here's the halftime of the show. You said instead of doing an old commercial, which I think are wonderful, you say, let's do some sort of aviation.
Sure. And I would love if listeners would write in or call in, and this would be a great time if you have an aviation question, a question about the nuts and bolts of Air Force One. Anything to do with a plane, let us know, and we will be happy to answer it.
Blake and I are well-versed. We'd be happy to answer your stupid question. So this week's question comes from me, from East Peoria, Illinois, and I write, what did ever happen to Amelia Earhart?
I'll tell you what happened to Amelia Earhart, and a lot of people don't know this. She was going to be the first woman to do a transcendental surgery.
Yeah, she was really into meditation.
Right. So she's going to fly a plane all the way across the world.
Sure.
Ironically, she is going to stop to get gas, but she's going to make the trip all the way around. Not on one tank of gas. All right?
Yeah.
Can't do it.
Can't do it. And there were people, obviously men, who didn't want her to be the first woman to do it.
No, they don't like that.
It's a man's thing, right?
It's a man's world! High five that shit.
It's been a while. And so there is some point in her trip where she stops, fuels up, right? And she's like, I got a long way to go over this water.
Yep.
And either, they rigged the engine, they rigged how much gas she had or something, and she just fucking crashed into the ocean.
Oh, so it really wasn't an exciting story at all.
Well, no, to me that's exciting. There's fraud involved. There's murder. Murder was the case that they gave nobody because nobody found out who it was.
Murder was the case.
She was sabotaged. She was.
Listen up, y'all, all right? Yeah. Much to her dismay, she was sabotaged, right? All right, that's fair enough. So, I hope I got the answer I wanted regarding her disappearance and subsequent death. Let's go ahead and break down the pilot now.
Do you think there's any nude pictures of her anywhere? Of Amelia Earhart?
What do you want? You want nude?
No, I'm just asking. I don't want anything. I've learned in life, don't want. Need.
So why do you ask that? If you don't want it, then why are you asking?
I'm just curious. Curiosity kills the cat.
I don't know how that applies either. Don't meow at me.
I didn't. I purred at you. Meow. I was like that.
All right, 10 minutes on the clock. Let's break down. So here's what happened. I'm going to go ahead and start this one. First of all, you have a title card from CBS and Paramount. And it says written by Paul Reiser.
Yeah, it says Paul Reiser pilot on it.
Yeah, so you're thinking maybe Paul Reiser will be in this. He is not in it at
No,
all.
I know he's not going to be in
Paul
this.
Reiser, famed late 70s, early 80s comedian, starred in the television program My Two Dads with the star of North Star, a pilot you did a few
Thank
weeks ago.
you.
You're welcome. With Lucas, and obviously came to much prominence with him and Helen Hunt in the mid to late 90s, the program.
What was the other...
What was that called? Mad About You.
Mad About You, but what was the other one that he was in with the guys from the diner?
It was called Diner.
Oh, yeah.
He was
in that,
He
too.
was in the movie Diner. Was he also in the pilot of Diner?
Yeah, he
Okay.
was. Yeah.
Yes, and he's done other things since then, but Mad About You was the big thing.
Oh,
right?
yeah, it was big. That was back when Helen Hunt was pretty.
Yeah, she only had a 5 head. Now she got like a 7 or 8 head now. So after the title card, there was a couple uncomfortable seconds of black silence on the to make you think, what's wrong with my TV?
Well, yeah, this is exactly what happened. I was like, oh, this is a 19-minute pilot. And then I watched the title card, and then I watched a blank screen for what seemed like eternity.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is an 11-minute pilot, for sure.
Well, it starts off at a New York barber shop, and you got some old friends. You got Eddie, the old guy. He's Hector Elizondo. And he's there with a friend or someone that he knows. It's Vince. He's a good-looking young guy. And they start his haircut, and he says, hey, I'm going to call you out on a rumor. Tell me the story about a very famous baseball player's sister.
Right.
And this begins a series of stories being told, flashbacks from Vince's point of view in the barber chair.
Right. And if you don't know, this actor that plays Vince is very thick accent, very like Joey Buttafuoco kind of thing.
Yeah. It's very New York heavy accent, absolutely. So they're at the barber shop, and it turns out that Vince is a car salesman, and he's talking to a customer, and then he sees Rashida Jones walk in, and she's a good-looking lady, and it immediately gets his attention, and he says, the guy that he's working with or working on, he says, you know what, let me go ahead and ignore that guy, and I'm going to get Cliff, the gentleman, Omar Benson we're talking about earlier, I'm going to get him to come over and take care of him, and I'm going to pursue this lady. And I'm thinking, why would he do that? Why would he pursue a lady?
Well, he owns it, and he anybody can make a sale. He's trying to get some pussy.
Yeah. But not only that, but he owns the place. This is his shop. We don't really find out until later. But you're right. He does own the place, so he can kind of do whatever the hell he wants there.
Sure, because he's not working on a commission. He owns the place, right? So as long as the car gets sold, he makes money. So why not try to get that swang tang sweet poontang instead of selling an Escalade?
I love that Ted Nugent. Anyway, so he's starting to lay it on pretty thick, and she says, "My name is Angela Jeter." And she gives Vince her card, and he's like, "Hey, are you related to this?" She said, "Yeah, I'm his sister." And then she walks out, and but apparently we find out that was kind of a lie or something. We don't know at first.
We don't know at first, but so he thinks that this is true.
He starts fantasizing, right?
Not fantasizing about having sex with her.
No.
Fantasizing about what it could do for his business.
Becoming like a New York socialite.
Sure, and
right?
opening up nightclubs and restaurants.
Going to all these fancy parties, meeting these famous people, right?
And still boning this hot chick, but that's not really his forefront. And but we don't know this, but she just says that sarcastically. Her name is Jeter. She's heard it all the time, probably.
The car lot used to belong to his dad, and he died. And then the whole show is basically him telling stories to his barber, right?
Right.
It's very odd. So now he's talking about his mother, and then her life after his father's death, and he's over there, and he keeps trying to give Vince all of her husband, his dad's old shit.
Right, and she's like, how's it going to go for the Queen's Dealership of the Year award?
Yeah.
Your dad won it for 23 years in a straight.
Right.
And he's like, we're trying, we're there.
And then Vince, like, he kind of starts to tell his mom the story about how he went out with the lady.
Yeah,
but this is weird because he's telling the barber the story about how his mom's getting on after the death of the father, and then there's like a story within a story.
Yeah,
it becomes super convoluted.
Yes, very much so.
It's very odd.
And I wrote here, it was a pre-note. he was describing. I go, had sex with Angela, and then I realized he didn't. I had to write, nope. But
Well, his phone goes off at one point, and it's the Austin Powers. Ding, 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 ding.
yeah,
Ding, 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 ding.
he has another flashback.
So it's a weird
right? So he's
ringer.
supposed to go out with Angela again. He can't because he has a flashback to where Cliff asks him to be the godfather and go to the baptism for his son. And then it tells a story about how he used to date the receptionist. So,
And she is she's like
Very
four,
short. Yeah,
4
she's
foot tall,
very
a
short.
very tiny woman. Marissa, I think is her name. And she's kind of hung up on Vince still. Like they used to date or something.
I think it's probably she's just bitter and she's going to ruin every chance she can get, kind of thing. You've had crazy girlfriends like that, right?
I don't know about that. Vince gets another call, and it's kind of back to the story here. He says, I'm going to wait 2 days to call Angela Jeter. And then when he does call her, he plays it kind of like a sales call from his business. And his last name is Brophy, I believe. I think it's
so.
Vince Brophy, and it's Brophy Cadillac where he works.
He's like, hey, I'm calling about that Escalade you were looking at. Are you still interested? And she's like, well, I'm looking at other cars. I was like, well, how about I bring this car to you, and you can drive it, no obligation,
as long as you want.
As long as you want,
yeah.
And to be able to like hang out with her.
Yeah. So as soon as he does that, these people that Cliff has been working on back at work for months, they come
same
back
Escalade.
in. They're like, we're ready to pull the trigger on this thing, and Cliff's like, hey, where the hell is this Escalade?
Because it's not just any Escalade; it's a Riptide Blue Escalade.
Riptide Blue, very good.
You know what that reminds me of?
What's
you know
that?
how I remember that?
I don't.
Robert Palmer. He had an album called Riptide.
Oh, did he really? The very same Robert Palmer that sang about being addicted to love?
Yeah.
Oh, very good.
I used to like Robert Palmer.
Why wouldn't you? R.I.P. So,
what? Riptide? Don't you mean R.I.P.?
R.I.P. Tide Robert Palmer? So, yeah. He's like, oh my God, they finally want to buy this thing, so now I got to find one. And he finds one just down the street. This Asian guy, his name is Steve. Steve used to work for Vince's dad, opened up a competing thing. But Steve is like, he's like a really creepy dude, but he's also very nice.
Yeah, he's very nice, but his voice is very like monotone and
real
very like
stoic and
like
robotic.
he's reading a script. Like he is a very bad actor.
Yeah,
but it's not him being a bad actor. That's what they want him to be.
Exactly.
At his dealership, he even has a picture of Vince's dad there because
he really thought a lot of him.
He was a mentor.
Absolutely. So, see, he says, I think he kind of works out a deal with Asian Steve, and that's fine. It's like, and then Vince ends up taking Angela to the baptism of Cliff's child.
Yeah, that's not a place to take a date, right?
It's a weird thing, yeah. And then, like, Marissa, the girl he used to date, who's the receptionist, she's there.
Sure.
And
it's understandable because she works every day
they all
with
work
Cliff.
together.
Yeah.
And she's kind of being a pain in the ass. And then she texts Vince during the actual ceremony of the baptism, because Vince is the godfather.
Right.
Godfather. I'm going to give you an offer.
On an Escalade you can't refuse.
I'm going to give you an APR you can't refuse.
You want warranty? I got your warranty right here. You know what? You bring it in every month for 3 months. Free car wash, free oil change.
I'm going to rotate your tires so much you can't refuse. So Angela is like, she's apparently not Derek Jeter's sister because I think Vince must have like kind of said this to all his friends, like, "Hey, I'm dating."
The receptionist finds out,
but he must have spread this to people.
Oh, sure,
he went
he
out
did.
with her, and then Marissa's like, "Well, I'm gonna take this information and find out." And she's like, "Hey, he's got a sister, but she doesn't live around here, and it sure as hell isn't this lady."
Right.
So like, Vince like calls her out. He says, "Hey, are you not really the sister?" And she's like,
I was just joking the whole time.
Like, yeah, I was being sarcastic. I get that shit all the time.
Right.
So you kind of think you're going to catch her in this big lie.
No,
but in fact, she was like playing it like fun and playfully.
Hey, you stupid guinea, you should have known that. Right?
So she admits that she's not the sister. And then when he gets shitty about it, she's like, if this is the only reason that you're seeing me, then you can probably fuck yourself forever.
Right.
And then she storms off, rightfully so.
It was a no-win situation for him, right? No matter how he handled it.
No. Steve down the street, the Asian guy, he sells not only the Escalade to the Cliff's friends, but also Angela Jeter. And so he gets dealership of the year.
Yep, breaking the streak.
And so Vince is down in the dumps, and then Eddie the barber is kind of like giving him a pep talk, right? And he's like, you know what, man? We have weeks in existence, It's like clockwork. He's basically saying there will be a tomorrow.
Right.
You're going to have a better week next week. And that's the end of the program. What do you think about that?
That's pretty good. I mean, what we did is pretty
Please
good.
remain seated as we are now crossing a zone of turbulence.
Turbulence.
Turbulence. Oh, boy, oh, boy. So here's what happened. I recognize Bobby Cannavale. Do you remember? Do you recognize him?
Yeah, I've seen him. He's probably been in some kind of fucking gangster movie, right?
But honestly, that probably wouldn't be far from the truth.
Yeah.
But you don't know the Ant-Man movies?
I've never seen Ant-Man.
They're actually pretty good.
I'm an Ant-Man. Meow, meow. I can live 10,000 times my weight.
You know Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
He plays Ant-Man. The films are actually almost like a palate cleanser to some of the more heavier action film. Like, they're fun and they're funny. And he plays a little role in those films, Bobby Cannavale. He's great. So I was excited to see this and to see what happened. Why didn't this show work, though?
And then you fell asleep.
And then I fell soundly asleep while watching it. Why didn't So Here's What Happened worked?
I didn't know, is the main character Vince or is it Eddie? Is it the barbershop? You know, where...
that's a really good question, actually.
And, you know, even at the end of it, because the scene ended with Eddie talking to a picture on the frame. So is it a situation where every week somebody is going to come in and, hey, so here's how it happened? Because I don't want to, you know, or is Vinny just going to come get his haircut every week?
That is honestly a great...
That was a huge thing.
That's
for
a
me.
great point. I didn't even think about that. But yet, why couldn't it be Eddie, the main, the sage, the elderly wisdom, the advice, the man who hears all the stories? This is what I'll say to you, though, in terms of thinking logically and logistically. Would it make sense to get a brand new cast of people in every week? Have all these different sets every week.
Can't do that.
To accommodate
Too much money.
To accommodate a story, right?
Can't do it.
Yeah,
you can't do it.
But
I understand what you're saying. That is an interesting concept.
Even you could just make Eddie the main character, and you can have 5 or 6 guys.
Just a rotating cast.
Yeah, like barbershop, fucking Ice Cube's barbershop.
Maybe have a little kid come every week, and he's got an interesting story about some stupid happening.
But I can't tell that in this. You can't tell it on this. And there's too many flashbacks.
You're right.
There was so many, like you even said, there was a flashback inside of a flashback inside of a flashback. There was so many flashbacks that it kind of got confusing. Like, I didn't know, where are we at?
Yeah, he was with his mom. He's like, hey, I went out with this lady. And he starts, in that flashback, they're like making out.
On the couch.
And then Eddie's like, did you tell your mom this? And he's like, no. But from what we saw, it looked like he was telling. Like, it got too convoluted.
Yeah.
I don't think I want to see a show that is all flashbacks.
Right.
I mean, we already watch Family Guy sometimes. That whole show is fucking...
So many flashbacks
But it's a cartoon, but it doesn't work here.
Right.
I can't see a man... Like, essentially, Eddie and Vince in the barbershop were seeing like 6 minutes altogether, but everything else is all these flashbacks, right?
And eventually, people are going to be like, there's no way Vince could have this kind of shit happen to him every week. Right?
I think that can be said about a lot of pilots, or not pilots per se, but like sitcoms. But it's exhausting because it's almost to a thing where it's like, you know, a show that's really popular, The Big Bang Theory. You know another show that's really popular, 2.5 Men. These are shows that you don't have to think a lot about.
Right.
You can sit on your Davenport, you can drink a Miller Lite, and you can just enjoy the silly and dumb escapades of the... I'm on my 4th beer, I'm sorry.
That Fifth City will fuck you up.
It really is kind of these lovable characters. This is a show you're going to have to really sit down and pay attention. And people don't necessarily want to do that when they sit down at the end of the day. They've been working hard for 8-10 hours at their job. They want to come down and just have a beer.
Just laugh and just laugh at something stupid.
This is a sitcom that is supposed to be for a network. I don't want to have to think about, are we in a flashback of a flashback? Are we in current time? Where are we?
Right.
There's too much thinking involved with this.
Right.
That's my 2 cents. But I understand the originality and the appeal of it too. Like I like your approach. What if you had 5 or 6 people? maybe 2 or 3 guys. Maybe get maybe get the Italian guy who owns the car dealership. Maybe get a black dude who's like a street basketball player. Maybe you have a white guy who's a garbage man. Maybe you have a single mom who's a lesbian. Because you gotta have straight ladies go to a barbershop?
Right.
No.
No,
So
yeah.
maybe you got a lady's point of view. Maybe you got all these different point of views coming through and seeing Eddie. And maybe at some point, those individuals will have their paths cross.
Sure, they'll interact because they hang out. This happens. It's supposed to happen in Queens, and so everybody in that neighborhood knows each other.
Right.
And they're eventually going to deal with each other.
I did not think about it like that at all. I think that's a very interesting approach. I think that'd be a great way to go, but maybe cut back on the flashbacks a little bit. Make them longer, because right now we're getting like a lot of them in chunks, and it's confusing. It confuses you with the timeline. Maybe make like 2 or 3 long ones, and put that with the current times. I don't know.
And then have there are parts where you can just have the wide shot of the guys at the barber listening to him and seeing their reaction.
Yep.
Or oh shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I totally agree. I think that's a great way this could have gone. I will also mention this is a play. Just like last week we were talking about with Let's Join Joni, that was very much like a live play. I feel like this is a modern play. I could see this as being like a one-act play where you just have someone come in and there's a set over here where they're just in the barbershop, and then they go to these different things off the side, and maybe Bobby Carnival takes off his coat, and then while it's dark, he puts on another coat, and all of a sudden he's in another scene with Rashida Jones or with the guy who played Cliff. You know what I mean? Like, I think it would be easy as a play to jump in and out of these different scenes rather quickly to tell these stories, and then jump back into the barber chair and continue. Anyway,
you got it, dude. In the immortal words of Sandy from Greece.
I think that was Michelle from Full House.
Please make sure your seat backs and tray tables are in the right position.
Are we ever going to do a different podcast where I can use my baby voice more?
I think we should do a flashback of us as kids and do an episode of us hosting this show as children.
Do you have plans for any more podcasts?
Oh, I have like 7 of them.
What are you going to do?
I'm not doing.
You're not going to do any of them?
Fear of disappointment.
What do you?
It's funny you say that because you've known about a couple of them that I really wanted to do. One I spent a lot of time on.
The clown one? Book of the Clown?
But there was one that I wanted to do. I thought about this the other day when I was outside smoking a cigarette. I was like, it's called Meet My Friend. Okay? This is called Meet My Friend. And I just talk to people that I'm friends with. You know what I mean? Just like, it was about their lives. Like, just like, what you see a bunch of podcasts where all these famous people are on, right? And they don't tell you shit. Even on Mark Maron, it's not the real shit. You know what I mean? But just, I just want to hear about a guy from, Chicago, that Blake knows.
All these people would be your actual friends?
Yeah, they're just just friends and acquaintances and people I could probably list 25 that I could do.
So you want to sit down with a real raw, no holds barred.
It doesn't have to be all raw and deep and it can be fun hearted. It just you go off that person's personality. You know what I mean? There are people in my life that interesting things have happened to. And, just
stories, real stories from real people.
True stories. It's real people. I thought it's like, meet my friend.
Yeah.
It's nothing fancy. Just meet my friend.
Nothing fancy. Just meet.
You don't even have to use your real fucking name, right?
Okay. Well, so the only reason you don't do any of these is because of fear of disappointment?
Fear of failure.
And what does failure look like?
Failure looks like when you look at the end of the month and you're like, how many people were interested in the art I created?
Okay, so it's about numbers still.
Well, how many people are interested in the art I created?
Yeah. I think it's a mixture of really networking
Sure, and I don't want to do it.
And you don't want to do it.
No, this show would be a lot more popular if I had that social networking click. It's so time consuming. Like Scott tells, Scott will describe the amount of time he puts into Twitter and shit. And yes, he's a multi-millionaire now, but is it But is it really like who? All that legwork you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Well, if he's a multi-millionaire, it probably is worth it.
But is the legwork you're doing to get people to listen to your content and appreciate it is two different things. You know what I mean? Like a lot of these, like Comedy Bang Bang. There's people that do that. Scott Aukerman is not trying to book the show, recording the show, editing the show, posting the show, and doing all his social media stuff. You know what I mean? He's not doing it all.
Right. In the beginning, maybe.
But
9-10 years ago, maybe.
Right. 9-10 years ago. You know what I mean? But
it's grown, and people do that for you.
So basically, this conversation involves me saying, I have an idea. I love the idea. Why don't you do the idea, Blake? It's a fear of failure. Why do you think I'll be your foe, Blake? Because I'm lazy.
No, I don't think that's the right question. I think it's.
No, I'm just that's basically what we just did.
I'm just saying, if you have an idea you want to do, you should just do it, and you should get the people involved to do it that you want to do it because it's fun. It's a creative outlet.
Sure.
If you're expecting to make a ton of money, you're going to get notoriety. Then you will be disappointed every time. But
Jason,
I do this because it's fun, and I think you should maybe see it the same way. If you have an idea you want, to
it's not about money. That's not. To me, it's about how many people are listening. I don't care if I don't have a Patreon, but like if I put my heart and soul into content, and then you go and like you see 30 people listen to it, you're just like
it's on you. It's on you to a certain degree.
You're just definitely. It's not on anybody else. It's on
to
me.
A degree. It's on you to shuck and jive and put it out there.
But it's also on me to like not make that a priority.
It's up to you.
If you wrote a play,
mm-hmm.
and it was the Cleveland, Ohio Players Club
mm-hmm.
said, "Hey, we would love to. We read your script or your play. We want to do it. All right, opening night comes out. You drive all the way out to Cleveland, Ohio, right? And like you're like this. Somebody is making my art, showing my art, and then 30 people buy tickets into like a 300 room venue. You gonna feel like shit?
In that specific scenario, probably.
Okay. Well, that's the way I look at it.
Okay.
And it's wrong. Jason, I've never said that I was right.
Okay. I mean, there's a lot of different resources and monetary values that go between the two things. But
I've never stood. I never hid behind any. I've always raised my hand and said, "Yeah, this is why things don't work." I've never said, "I don't know why my." You know what I mean? I know why.
In 5 years, they're going to throw your dead carcass in the ground. You may as well get.
Can't wait.
You may as well get what joy you can out of it, and then get whatever. Make Booger the Clown. Make Three Boards of the Left. Make Meet My Friends. If that's what you really want, figure it the fuck out and do it.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, that's fine. There's no Rotten Tomatoes score. There are no critic reviews. There are no viewer reviews. This is interesting because now Hector, Rashida, and Bobby are all people of note. There's no information.
And so is Paul Reiser.
And Paul Reiser too, who's really only mentioned by name. He's not in the pilot. He's not an actor there. Yeah. And this is kind of at a time where he is, I would say, in a lull. I would say 2010, 2012 rolls around. He had a shot on NBC with another pilot. It was kind of a meta, almost Curb Your Enthusiasm style pilot, but it didn't go anywhere. It was canceled very quickly. I think it was called The Paul Reiser Show. But this is a lull in his career where he picked up the pen and said, you know what, maybe I'll write something.
Right. I don't have to worry about money. I'm going to pay my bills. And
he definitely doesn't have to worry about money.
Right. I have nothing to do, so I'm just going to write something.
But there is an IMDb score. And I know you're a goddamn filthy cheater, so I'm going to go ahead and just say the score. Out of 10 decimal points in play from 8 ratings, it is a 6.4.
I'm not going to do it.
Oh, you don't like that, huh?
I don't like it.
Fine.
I don't like it.
That's fine. We'll go ahead and land this thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to FCF Airport. Local time is 11:11 and the temperature is 69 degrees. For your safety and comfort, please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the captains turn off the fasten seatbelt sign.
Bing bong, bing bang boom. 1 to 7, that's the scale. Some people say it's a weird scale. Say 1 to 5, 1 to 4,
no.
1 to 10. No.
No.
1 to 7.
Yeah.
All right, you and I, we've been to IMDb. We've seen the television program affectionately and accurately known as Wings listed there and the primary characters. There's 7 of them, right?
And the primary care providers.
Absolutely. One is the worst score you can get. That's the character on Wings known as Roy Biggins. Number 7, oh my goodness gracious, that's the best score you're going to get. That's a Brian Hackett. Captain Philip Restisher. I turn to you. How do you rate? So here is what happened.
In the immortal words of Metallica, I got something to say. Your pilot raped my brain today. Too many flashbacks. I was disappointed this came from Paul Reiser. I kind of expected
Why do you have him in any kind of esteem?
I really liked Mad About You, even as when I was a kid when it was out. Like I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was witty. You know, I didn't find it as cheesy as probably. You know what I mean? Like I said, I didn't know if Vince or Eddie was the person. You know, and also interesting fact: IMDb. When you look up Bobby Bettafuco's name,
Sure.
It for the character, it says Danny.
It says Danny?
Go to it right now. It says
Vince, right?
It's Vince, but it says on IMDb Danny.
Wow.
And that was a shocker for me. It got me confused. I thought maybe my attention was so bad that I thought, oh, I'm stereotyping an Italian guy.
Like you probably said Vince 10 times, right?
Yeah, 15 times. On IMDb, it says Danny.
Weird.
Oh, Danny boy. This was awful. It was only 19 minutes. I was praising you for that, and then I watched it, and then I thought...
Then you cursed me immediately.
No, not you, but I was like, even at 19 minutes, I couldn't keep my attention for 19 minutes. I struggled with it. It wasn't funny. A 2.
A 2? Wow. You really threw a wrench in the gears, I think, because when I watch this show, I think... I get a haircut maybe every 2-3 months, and lately it's been even longer than that. This guy is getting his haircut once a week. This show comes out once a week. Once a week, Bobby Cannavale, as Vince, is going into Eddie's shop and he's telling him a story. Some of the weird and interesting things that he's encountered within the last week of his life, and maybe even beyond that, with some other flashbacks within flashbacks. Right. That is the story to me. You threw a wrench in saying, you know what, maybe Eddie is encountering a variety of people as the barber in this shop, and he's getting stories from all different folks from around Queens. Logistically and financially, that doesn't make sense to me, but I like the creative idea that you had there. I'm gonna settle into the fact that I think we're following Bobby's story.
Sure.
Even more so because if the original name was, as we learned in Interesting Facts, Mr. Invincible, Eddie calls Vince Mr. Invincible at the end of the pilot. So I think this is a show about Vince and his exploits and him communicating these to a longtime family friend who is the barber Eddie. That's what I believe this show would be going forward. It's an interesting idea. There are too many flashbacks. It gets too meta. It gets too far up its own ass, I think, a little bit. Sure. But there are some interesting characters and an interesting idea there. And because of that, I give it a 4.
Wow.
You give it a 2. And with that, we close the book on So Here's What Happened, and we will never speak of that show again.
Never ever.
But join us next time, won't you please, when we watch the pilot episode of Elysian Fields. You want to spell Elysian?
Nope.
You're writing it down. Here's a little something to wet your whistle. Nate Goodman moves to New Orleans into a boarding house filled with eccentrics led by the divorced proprietor and her lustful sister.
Woo!
You can find the entire episode of Elysian Fields by subscribing to Couch Pilots in SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app of choice, and then simply click on one of our classically blue links in our show notes, or go to YouTube. Black?
And you know what to do, too.
Oh, mercy. I think this is a full movie.
Okay, great.
So,
awesome.
Fuck both of us, I suppose.
Sure, because I'll be in Milwaukee that weekend, so I'll have to watch it before I leave.
You're welcome. These are the pains that we go through.
No, it's not about us. It's not about the suffrage that we deal with is for the greater good, right?
You ever hear that? You ever hear the phrase "women's suffrage"?
I don't recognize it.
Okay, it's basically saying giving women the right to vote.
Okay.
But like they say, we don't want women's suffrage. You hear it as we don't want women to suffer, but in fact, you do want women's suffrage because you want to give them the ability to vote.
Yeah,
that's a fucked up turn of phrase. I don't know. Anyway, go to couchpilotspodcast.com if you like. That's our website. We paid for it. We own it outright. No one can take it from us. And God damn it, I dare you to try.
Well, it's coming due pretty soon, so we can dare to dream, right?
Go there, and all of our episodes, every single one we've ever done, almost 200 now, damn it. They're all there. All the different ways to contact us through social media is there, our email address, rather, and even our phone number is there, right?
Sure. It's 910-PILOTS-1, and if you don't know like where all the letters are on the numbers, it's 910.
You're never going to get this.
I got it when I was with Lucas.
Where's your sheet of paper?
I threw it away.
910-745-6871. You can leave us a voicemail. We're gonna play it on here. So whatever you say, it'll be played exactly on this show, and then Blake and I will comment on it, probably pretty harshly.
But I think when you say that, I'm like, somebody was just about ready to call it, and then you're like, we're going to shit on you, and then they hang up the phone.
It is not. No one's about ready to dial, and then they're like getting their phone out. They're listening on the phone, and they're like, take that very same phone, like, 910-745, and then we'll make fun of you. Oh, no, delete. No one's doing that shit.
All right.
Or you go to patreon.com. It's a website designed to support artists, and Blake and I are very far removed from the word artist, but if you want to give us money for doing this show, we'll take it because it's not free.
Sure.
We give it to you for free, but it's not free for us to do.
Right.
We're spending money on what we consider a hobby.
Sure. Instead of going golfing on Sunday.
Or bowling, or...
Well, no, I'm still going bowling.
Or spending money on
You know what's coming up? It's coming up in about a month and a half.
What's that?
League time coming up.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
No, you're going to care.
What do you have something you want to tell everyone today? A message of positivity to bring forth to the masses?
Summer's almost over. Enjoy every day.
August 26th?
Yeah, it's going to get cold real fucking quick. And so enjoy, I hope you worked on your tan. You didn't work very much on your tan this year. I did. I am bronzy can be. I look good right now.
I have real sharp tan lines.
Oh, I bet you do. So just get out there, and kids are going back to school. Just go enjoy a summer afternoon. Go to the park. Go shoot some b-ball outside the school. If there's a couple of guys in your neighborhood, just flip them off and say "fuck you."
Wow.
Just have fun.
That was fun.
And then it's back to the grindstone.
Back to the grindstone. That's right. All winter long. Oh, boy. This pilot may have been rough, but it is always a smooth flight here on Couch Pilots. Thanks, everyone. And we'll see you next time.
Love you. Bye-bye.
On behalf